Hi and welcome to Casual DIY channel. In today's video we'll be making some resin Christmas decorations. Check out the video. Alright then, so it's a super simple idea. What we need to do is to make some very thin castings. About 3mm. Thanks to that, later on I'm going to show you a very cool trick what you can actually do to give your resin a nice cool shape. But that's enough talking. First of all, let's mix up some resin. The resin I'm going to be using for this particular project comes from Resin Pro. Very good resin. I've been using it for actually a few years now. Fantastic product. This particular one, the mixing ratio is by weight 100:60. It actually has got a very long open window, 60 minutes plus, so I don't have to rush with this particular project, and you can cast from 1mm to 2cm of depth. So very good, very flexible resin here. If you are interested in this particular resin or any other resin from Resin Pro, and they do have quite a good range, plus all the mica powders, resin dyes and everything like that, check out their website. The link is down below in the description of this video, and by using my my discount code, you can get 10% off from your shopping. Worth checking out and saving some money. Thanks to the long open working window, it does give the ability to the resin to actually degas on its own, so we shouldn't have any major issues with air bubbles trapped inside. In this project I want to use a really nice blue mica powder. I also want to add a pearl effect to this mixture, and I want the whole color to be a little bit darker. So I'm adding the blue color, not too much of it though. That should give us a really nice rich color with some cool effects. I have to say the color is absolutely amazing. Remember, the layer needs to be about 3mm in thickness. But now I want to add some effects to it. I'm thinking of adding some pearl and gold glitter to this project, and both of these can be found on Resin Pro website. Look at that, really cool effects here. Let's add it to our project. I'm dividing the whole mold into different parts, different effects, as it is a fairly large mold. But obviously you can use whatever molds you've got for this particular project. You can't really go wrong here. Now I'm mixing a small batch of resin with gold mica powder. And let's give it some swirls. So I have mixed up some more resin, and I'm just adding silver mica powder. And this time I'm going to be adding some silver glitter to the mixture. That will give it that nice, interesting sparkle. Remember, resin is self-leveling, so as long as you've got a level surface to work with, the resin will get to every corner of your mold. If you're interested in casting resin, or you're just beginning your adventure with resin, check out my playlist. That it has got all the basics about resin casting and resin in general. I'll drop a link down below in the description of this video. And in this case as well, I want to divide it to two different effects. I think silver and gold will look really nicely. I've got some gold sheets, as you can see here, which I'm going to add to the mix now. This will give it this really nice and interesting look. Just need to work the golden foil inside of the resin. Next I will be adding some color shifting powder. This one is golden reddish. I'm going to add it to the remaining parts of the silver. Let's give it a bit of a swirl. Alright, we'll leave that to cure. Okay, now it's time for the round mold. I've divided the resin into 2 cups and I'm going to add 2 different effects to it. And it's time to pour them in. These can be a little bit thicker, around 5 millimeters in thickness. And with the leftover resin, I'm just gonna pour it right in. Now I'm gonna leave everything to set, so see you in just a second. Okay then, so you can see I've demolded them and look at that, they came out absolutely gorgeous. Fantastic effects, just what we've been looking for. What we're going to need is a heat gun for our project. But remember to use it reasonably, not to overheat the resin. Resin is basically like plastic, and if you give it a bit of heat, it will start to be flexible. First of all, I'm going to pre-drill some holes in our circles, so we've got somewhere to actually hang them. I've got this circle with some double-sided tape here, and I'm actually going to use the containers that got the mica powders and the glitter I've got. I found them to be perfect size for this. I'm going to stick it just like so. And what we're going to do, we're going to heat up our resin. As I said, make sure it's not too hot or you could burn your resin. You see, it's already becoming flexible. Right, so as it's very nice and flexible, we can get a piece of string and make out the shape that we want. Okay, so we've got the string, the rope in place. At the minute, the bending is only just slightly, but I want it to be more pronounced. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add one of these under the string here, at the back. Just like so. Depends how much tension you're going to add, that's how it's going to stay. This seems to be perfect for me. Now I will put that to side and let it cool off, rest and harden. Okay, let's go to the next one, the blue one. And when it's flexible enough, as you can see, we can use a sharp knife or scissors to actually cut something out of this. It cuts really easily, just like so. It's thin and flexible. Okay, you can also tape the ends to the desired shape. And you can leave that to set as well. Okay, with these, I'm just going to trim off the edges on both of them so I've got nice flat surfaces to work with. However, I'm going to heat them up before so it's nice and easy to cut. And now I will be cutting some strips from our casting. You can also use scissors. Right then, look at that, we've got plenty of nice ribbons here. Now we can have some fun. Okay, so this strip is preheated, very flexible. So what you can do, you can grab yourself a dowel like so, a bit of tape, and you wrap it around the dowel. And it's up to you how it's going to look. It could be very, very small, or actually a little bit larger. I'll go for a slightly larger option. For the next option, I'm just going to use a plastic cup. Next one, we're going to use this silicone mold to make sure they stay in place. Put a bit of tape on it. For the next one, I'm going to be using some really thin strips and a bit of UV resin. And you need to let that to set as well. You can also make a super simple one by just gluing both of the ends together and making something like this. That's going to look very nice, especially with all the glitter here. I'm going to use the UV resin again. Let's do one more with the blue and gold. I do really like this. All right, they came out absolutely fantastic. Check that out. Really cool. Great effects. Something you can whack on your Christmas tree and impress your guests with something that's absolutely unique, that nobody else will be able to find it or buy it. Now, obviously, that's not the end of the project, as we need to do a bit of a touch-up here and there. So, in my case, I'm using high-grit sandpaper pads. I'm just going for 500 just to clear the edges a little bit, round them off, especially where the places that we actually use the knife or the scissors, not too much. Try actually not to sand the main area, as that would be far too much work. Right then, for the next step, you need to hang everything up in a nice and clear way. You need to make sure to wear a mask and be in a well ventilated room, as we're going to use glossy spray varnish. That's how we're going to finish our decorations. Right, let's crack on. And the last thing to do is just to thread some wires so you can actually hang them on your Christmas tree or anywhere else you actually want. Check that out. That's gonna look absolutely amazing on your Christmas tree. Super cool. I'm gonna continue with the rest. I'm gonna show you a close-up of all of them in just a second. Alright, I think all of them came out really nice. I have to say, I do have a few of my favorites, especially this one. I think it's came out absolutely stunning. I can't wait for December when Christmas finally arrives and I will be able to put them on our Christmas tree with my kids. I hope this project gave you a bit of an inspiration and you enjoyed it. If you did, drop me that like button down below and remember to subscribe to my channel as there will be some more cool things coming with regards to resin in the future. That's it from me. Take care.